Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Robmotive. It is an awesome day here in South Texas. A little bit windy, but very, very warm. Hey, and real quick, if you haven't before, make sure you smash that notification bell and click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. So I was thinking this morning as I was out here kind of walking around looking at truck heaven. You know, I've got trucks all over the place, it seems. But I was thinking about the Toyota Care program. That's right, the Toyota Care program. You know, it's coming up to about time for me to start getting those little annoying mailers from Toyota telling me I need to bring in my new truck. It's a 2021 I got just a few months ago. For the Toyota Care program. And you know, I had an experience with that a while back. I started getting those little mailers and I actually called them and I asked them, what are you gonna do? And they went over a few things that they were gonna do, and I ended up not taking it in. And there's a reason for this, and they even agreed with me. But today I want to talk about some Toyota Tacoma mod / service myths. We're gonna bust them today. First of all, number one, let's talk about Toyota Care. You know, everybody seems to think that if you take your truck in when they start hounding you at about 1,000 miles or so, that you're gonna have your oil changed. That is not true. Toyota will not do that. It is not covered under Toyota Care. What they're gonna do is they're gonna inspect things. They're gonna check air filters, fuel levels, tire pressure, that kind of stuff, but they're not gonna change your oil. Because if you look at the fine print under Toyota Care, the first oil change is either at 12 months or 10,000 miles. Now, on my previous truck, I did end up taking it in. It had under 1,000 miles on it, actually. And they gave me just a little bit of flack because they said, well, you're not due yet. And I said, well, I've had the truck for over a year. According to Toyota Care, I am. And then they immediately backed off and they changed the oil. So just beware. That's a Toyota myth busted, I guess, in that you are not going to get your oil changed unless the truck is over a year old or you have 10,000 miles. Number two, putting a new exhaust on the truck is going to increase power and fuel economy. You know, I've had a few different exhausts on my Toyota Tacomas over the years, and I can tell you the only thing it really does is change the sound. And most times not for the better. You're going to get a droney, more tinny kind of sound. I never noticed any kind of power increase, and certainly never had any kind of fuel economy increase. Now, with that said, I do have a new exhaust that I'm going to be putting on my Toyota Tacoma soon. So I'm trying to prove myself wrong, prove that that isn't a myth. We're going to find out. Number three, the ECT button does something. It'll give you more power. And in case you're not familiar with that, it's on your dash area. It's the electronically controlled transmission. What it's for, it does have a purpose. It's for towing, maybe even hauling heavier things, but it changes the shift points in the transmission. Now, some might argue that since it should shift differently, it might feel like you're getting more power. Gotta say, I've tried it on several of my Tacomas and I've never noticed any difference. Now, I wasn't doing it with a lot of weight in the truck and I wasn't towing anything, but I never felt any more power, unlike the tow haul button in the previous generation Toyota Tundras. Now that, because it changes the shift points, it held the gears longer, made the Toyota Tundra feel a heck of a lot quicker. But in the Tacoma with the ECT button, don't expect anything. That's a myth. Number four, cold air intakes increase power, fuel economy, and sound. No, I've had several different cold air intakes on my Toyota Tacoma, and the only thing they really did for me was make it look a little better under the hood. I have a cold air intake now that I'll be putting on this Tacoma, my 2021, But I'm only doing it with the expectation that it's going to look better under the hood. And it will, because I like this cold air intake. But you're not going to get anything different out of it otherwise. It's interesting. I had somebody contact me recently, and they said that they put a cold air intake on their Tacoma, and their fuel economy actually dropped. Now, I would say that their fuel economy probably dropped because they were a little heavier on the pedal, looking for something more in the way of sound. I can't say for sure, but I can say that you shouldn't notice any kind of fuel economy difference. Now, it's not to say that the cold air intake doesn't increase the numbers. And that's how they get away with stating that you're going to get more power, because they put that unit on and then they throw it on a dyno. And it might get 20, 30, something like that, more horsepower. But that's on a dyno, a sensitive device that's looking for slight changes. It's nothing that you're going to feel. So I suppose if you print the dyno results off and drive around and show them to everybody, you can say that your Toyota Tacoma has more power because you put a cold air intake on. But you're never going to feel it, and neither is anybody else. Number 5, mods kill warranty. Now, this is kind of a tricky area. First of all, the rule is if you mod your Toyota Tacoma and it directly causes the failure of an otherwise warranted part, then it won't be covered. For instance, let's say that for some reason you decided to change the wheels on your Tacoma and they caused your warranted tires, the original ones, to go flat. And it can be directly tied to the new wheel, well, then they're not going to cover that tire. But if you put different wheels and tires on your Tacoma and the rear taillight quits working, they cannot deny warranty because you put new wheels and tires on your truck. Neither one affects the other. So that's the rule of thumb. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have an unscrupulous dealership that might try to deny warranty because you, I don't know, put an air scent unit in your truck, maybe something that's going to make it smell a little better. You never know. There are bad dealers out there. But in a court of law, you would win if you want to spend the money. Number 6, must re-gear the Toyota Tacoma when you put different wheels and tires, bigger tires on. Now, again, this is a little bit of a gray area. Obviously, if you put a bigger, heavier tire on the truck, it's going to take away a little bit of the power. Re-gearing would bring it back to where it was before, or even better. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you want to spend the money on it? And are you going to trust the people that are doing it will do it right? I've heard some horror stories out there about people that have had things like that done and then had numerous problems afterwards. So you don't have to do it. That's a myth. Just because you're going to put bigger tires on does not mean you have to re-gear the Toyota Tacoma. Not to say that it won't help as far as power goes, but it's not something that you have to do. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, kind of talk about some Toyota Tacoma mod / service myths and bust them. There are definitely a lot of things going on out there being talked about that are not true. I have experience with all of these myself as far as the Toyota Tacoma goes, and I can tell you these are busted. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Have you heard of something out there maybe that you've discovered was a myth and not necessarily true? I'd be curious to know. Also, if you didn't in the beginning, don't forget, smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels, Robmotive JT, all about Jeep Gladiators, and Robmotive FST, all about full-size trucks. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay knowledgeable out there. Bye.